Now, this question's very common. It used to be very common. How old are you? And there's a lot of discrimination around that, actually. Because if you're too old, or too young, you might not fit the position. Think about like maybe some of the technology fields might be more of a quote young man's game, but that doesn't mean whether you're a man or a woman or anything of any age you can do the job. Can you do the job? Doesn't matter your age if you're too young. Same thing if you're too old, right? Or if you're too young trying to get a more of a senior, like a manager type job. What does age have anything to do with it? Maybe experience a little bit, but can you do the job? Can you do the job well? And are you a great candidate? I know where I'm from in the United States, there are laws around discriminating against people because of age, primarily above, I believe it's 40, 45, where it's a protected class, that you can't discriminate specifically against older folks that way. Because it tends to be, the older you get, especially if you get above 40, 50 years old, there's discrimination thinking about like, oh, you might not be with the company long because you want to retire or not have all the give or whatever kind of stuff. It's all terrible things. So if you get asked questions like how old you are, that's usually a red flag that there might be something wrong with that company or that interviewer, and maybe you just need to get through that and go on to the next interviewer if it's a multiple interview situation, or just be wary. Maybe there is a discriminatory thing. The key that you want to turn around to is age doesn't matter. I can do the job and I can do it great and I can do it well. And here's why. So if you get asked that question like how old are you, just say something like, you know what? Age is in the eye of the beholder. All I know is looking at this job description, because you need somebody who can do A, B, and C. Well, let me tell you, I've got great experience doing A, B, and C. In fact, I can even do X, Y, and Z. And I'd love to talk to you further about that, about some of these great accomplishments and how I can fit with your organization. Really, just brush it aside, something as simple as that. If they want to discriminate against you on age, and particularly if it's illegal in some countries or bad practice in others, they're probably going to do it anyways, right? So just be aware that do the best you can and really keep it focused on the job and how you can contribute to the job. And in the end, you want to be comfortable in the job you're at too. And if somebody's like that, maybe it's not a great place. So be aware that it can be a very discriminatory and a very illegal question. Very rarely is it asked, by the way, because of resumes and CVs. You can kind of look at people's work history and get a feel for their age even before they come in. And certainly when you're there talking to somebody, they can get a feel for how old they are as well. Like, I bet you don't believe that I'm 22 years old. Really? No, I'm not older than that. So, but you can certainly get an idea that maybe I'm a more senior person with some good experiences. Okay, so if you're going to ask the age question, brush it aside and focus it all back on the job again and move forward and say, you know what? I can do this job a great way. And I can be great on that job. If you got questions along this age or any of these questions in here, throw them into the question box on the side there too. I'd be glad to answer them in more detail as well.